So this is a support assessment quiz review, and so I just wanted to go over a few pointers that you could use while you take this. It says graph the equation by plotting points. Y equals 6x minus 3. So the first thing you know, you're going to use that graphing tool, and you're going to have to pick that it makes a straight line. The next thing you're going to want to do is go to your graphing calculator and type in y equals 6x minus 3 and find some points on the table that you can use for x and y. So I'm typing in y equals 6x minus 3. I'm going to hit graph just to look at it. Looks like it's pretty steep there. Then I'm going to hit second graph to figure out a couple of points. So I'm looking at these two, 0, -3, and 1, 3. You could pick any points as long as they would fit on your graph. So we said if we pick 0, we would get -3, and that's just by plugging 0 in here. So 6 times 0 minus 3 would give you -3. Another point was 1. If we did 1, 6 times 1 is 6. 6 minus 3 is 3. And so these 2 points would be on our graph. 0, -3. And now mind you, this is going by 2's here. And then another point would be 1, +3. So it looks like this. And the graphing tool does a really good job at this, but you're going to want to connect those 2 dots and make a straight line. And remember also that the graphing tool tells you exactly what point you're on, so you want to make sure that you're plotting the points that you have here. Question number 2 is a simple question. It just asks us to solve this algebraic equation. So -37 is equal to x minus 10. Really just you're wanting to get x by itself, and so you're going to add 10 to both sides. You would get -27 is equal to x. Answer for that one is just going to be -27. Number 3, I would say a lot of people miss this. It's asking you to multiply w plus 3 times w plus 4. We're going to use FOIL to do that. So first, outer, inner, last. If you do that, you're going to get w squared plus 3w plus 3w plus 12. And that's going to end up being w squared plus 6w plus 12. That's the answer that would go right here. If they use w, make sure you use w and you don't use x. That would be one of the number 1 mistakes people make right here, is make sure you use the letter that they are using. Find the slope and the y-intercept. Y equals mx plus b is an equation that's called the slope-intercept form, because you can easily pick out the slope and the y-intercept if it's in this form. B would be the y-intercept here. It's the number, the constant term that's kind of out by itself. So in this one, that would be the 9. So the y-intercept would be the 0.09. M, which is the coefficient, the number in front of the x, is going to be your slope. And in our case, the number in front of x, our coefficient here, is just 8. So the slope would be 8, and the y-intercept would be the 0.09. Find the slope of the line that goes through the given points. Okay, so there is a formula that we use to find the slope, and that formula is m, which I don't know why they use m to represent slope, but m is representing of slope, y2, y subscript 2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And so you would label these points x1, y1. So the x1 is 2, y1 is 4, and then x2 is 9, y2 is 10. And then you would plug it in this formula where the things go. So y2, so we said y2 is 10, so we would say 10 minus y1, which is 4, over x2, which is 9, minus x1, which is 2, So we've just plugged it in the formula, and then 10 minus 4 is 6, 9 minus 2 is 7. If you could reduce that, you would reduce it, but 6/7 is already reduced for us, so we're good to go with that one. Factor the trinomial. So we have talked about, we have put a quad program on our calculator that, and I'll talk about what that is in just a minute, but we put a quad program on our calculator. So you could just work the quad program and go backwards and work this, or you could say what multiplies to 14 and adds to be your middle number, since there's no leading coefficient here, so it adds to be 9. Well, the two things that would multiply to 14 and add to 9 would be 7 and 2. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 plus 2 is 9. And so the answer would be, if I'm factoring this, r plus 7 times r plus 2. Again, one of the number one mistakes people are going to make here is they're going to use x instead of r. But that is what needs to go right here. If you use the quad program and you would type in that a is whatever is in front of r squared, so 1, b is 9, and c would be 14 here, then it's going to spit out some answers for you, and the answers would be -7 and -2. So if you want to use this, you're going to have to go backwards and say, okay, if it's a -7, it's going to be r plus 7. If it's a -2, it's going to be r plus 2. Either way is fine. Same thing on this problem. They're asking us to solve this. So we want something that multiplies to give us 4, but also adds to give us 4. Well, that's going to be s plus 2 times s plus 2, because 2 times 2 is 4, and 2 plus 2 is also 4. And so when we're solving this, you would have to set that equal to 0, and you would say s plus 2, since they're both the same, we don't need to do it twice, but s plus 2 is equal to 0. We would subtract 2, so s is equal to -2. That's what's going to go right here. If you're using the quad program, you would just simply plug in that a is equal to 1, b is equal to 4, and c is equal to 4, and it would tell you that the answer is -2. It's been a while since we've done synthetic division, but number 8 involves synthetic division. So the first thing that we're going to do here, if we're saying b to the third minus 5b squared plus 12b minus 9, and we want to divide that by b minus 3, we're going to take this minus 3 and we're going to turn it into a positive 3. Always want to do the opposite of whatever's there. You also want to make sure that every term is included here. So b to the third, b squared, b to the first, and then your constant term that doesn't have b. If it's not there, you have to put a 0 for it. So 1b to the third, -5b squared, 12b, minus 9. When we do synthetic division, this in this box would be our remainder. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring down the 1. 1 times 3 is going to give me 3, so I put that right here, and then I add these two. -5 times plus 3, -5 plus 3 is -2. I take that and multiply it by 3, which is 6, -6. -2 times 3 is -6. We're going to add those two. 12 and -6 is positive 6. We're going to multiply 6 times 3 and get 18. -9 plus 18 is going to give me positive 9. That would be my remainder. To write the answer, if you start out with b to the third, whatever this is going to be 1 less than that, so b to the second. So this would translate into 1b squared minus 2b plus 6 with a remainder of 9. And so that is going to be b. Okay. Translate to an algebraic expression, 33 more than y. That's just going to be y plus 33. On this very last question, it's asking you to simplify this by removing factors of 1. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you want to factor both of these. So you could do this using the quad program like we've talked about before, or you could just say what multiplies to 4 and adds to -5. Well, that's going to be y plus 5. I'm sorry, that's not correct. What multiplies to 4 and adds to -5, that's going to be y minus 1, y minus 4. -1 times -4 would give us our +4. -1 plus -4 would give us -5. Then we want to do the same thing on the bottom. We want something that multiplies to -7 but adds to -6, or +6 rather. So y plus 7, y minus 1. 7 times -1 gives us our -7. 7 plus -1 gives us our 6. And like I said, you could use the quad program to factor the top and the bottom like we did above. That would work as well, but we have two y minus 1s, and so our final answer is going to be y minus 4. The y minus 1 over y minus 1 canceled out. That was our factors of 1. And then y minus 4 over y plus 7 is going to be your final answer. So that's the end of the support review.